I mentioned it in the past, recently, like, I just need, let me just start that whole thing over again. Not start the whole thing over again, we're just going to go from that sentence I fucked up. I need to start, whenever I discuss the homeless, to make sure that I articulate that there's a distinction between homeless people and the fucking street mutants. Homeless people are a growing population in America. Could happen to almost anyone these days because the system is so fucked, and it's that valley between the have and the have-nots has been weaponized to such a degree now that you run into a couple spots of bad luck and you're on the fucking street. And it's hard to get back in housing. You gotta go work the programs, and there's way more people doing that than ever before in this country. It's fucked. A lot of those people are trying to get in a home, trying to get their shit together, don't want to be on the street. And then you have the street mutants, as I call them. People that are on the street, but they're not looking to get into a home. Now, there's exceptions. I mean, there isn't everything. And sometimes you'll meet like those, they're usually like older dudes that have just kind of checked out of society, don't want any part of it, and they're cool. They keep to themselves. They do their own thing, don't bother anybody. But the majority of street mutants are the worst kind of assholes, the worst kind of scum you've ever seen. And the reason that is because they're all people, they're all transplants, but they're all people who had to either flee the mainland because they were being chased off, or they just caused so much trouble in their own communities, neighborhoods, towns, and burnt so many bridges and fucked so many people over that they had to just fucking get off the mainland. And being too shady to get a fucking passport together, they end up here. My friend calls it the island of misfit toys. Like, all the worst come here. You know? The worst of the worst end up here. Those are the street mutants. Not looking to get into a home. They're just looking to rob, scam, and do fucked up shit to people. Now, your average street mutant, if I had to describe them, is white, of course, because there's hardly any black homeless people. Like less than a handful here. I know them all too. Like, I know, oh, there's that guy, this guy. There's one guy called Bruce Banner, because he's always dressed like he just changed back from being the Incredible Hulk. He's got, like, you know, these clothes on, they're barely hanging on him. Reps look like he's attacked by a pack of wild boars. Then there's another a black guy me and Nia see all the time. He's really cool. He's an artist, or we think he is. He's always drawing, but we talk to him, give him food. He's an older guy, keeps to himself. He's cool. And then there's a couple newer black homeless guys that look like they might have been like in a mental hospital or something. Like, you know, they just kind of walk around the days. I know them all. But the four, there might be five. Because the reason that is because of the social safety nets. Like, it's kind of hard to become a black homeless person because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of nets underneath you before you hit the street. So it's kind of rare. 98% of homeless people are white males, because they're the ones that are most susceptible to homelessness. And that's true in the street mutant category and the actual regular homeless category. But the street mutants are like turbo assholes because of the reason, you know, I described. So we're talking a guy, white guy, between, for the most part, 30s, 40s. They hew older and younger, but the most of them are like 30s, 40s. Ex-tattoo artists, usually covered in ink, covered up to the point where you know they used to do it. They skateboard. The skateboarders, most likely from the Los Angeles area, and they're just the fucking worst. You know, whenever there's one that, well, you know what, I shouldn't say that because all kinds of different people get into my building. It's weird, like homeless people get into my building a lot. They just kind of, I have trouble getting in sometimes, like if I forget my key. But for some reason, homeless people just magically, they're able to fucking get in my building. So there's been one, I've never seen them, but they've been shitting in the back stairs. I went coming down the back stairs tonight. I think I stepped in it. It's not on my shoe, but I looked back at it and it was smushed. So maybe someone before me. This is happened. This is the 4th time I've seen this recently, and it's definitely a homeless dude, not someone that lives there. These guys are usually on meth. A lot of them are on Fetty now, and you see them kind of bent over, doing the fat thing. I think the reason they brought in all those immigrants and got rid of all the old drug dealers was because they needed to sell. Needed them to sell fentanyl. I don't think the island guys would have did that. Because for the most part, they don't know what it is, and they're not the kind of people that would want to kill off their community. That's what I've explained before, like why they never used to do the kind of crime we have here now. Because they respect the island, they respect their home, their ohana. Someone from the mainland, they don't give a shit. Am I going into Ross? I'm going to finish this cigarette, and I'm going to go and pull off. I'd passed them by, but yesterday I hopped in at a whim and I got a 12-inch Bane. And am I gonna have fun with that? Look for some after credits Bane posting. But yeah, so one, and I know it's one of the guys I described, because sometimes I'll come out in the morning and they'll be digging in the dumpsters. They're always digging in the dumpsters and shit. And it's that same look, like usually wearing a baseball cap, obviously shorts, everybody wears shorts. White beater, carrying a skateboard, looks like they've been on meth, like lined up faces. Like you can tell they're not as old as their face because of drug use. It's amazing how they're all the same. It's like a standard dude, the standard street mutants. They all look like that. But I'm pretty sure that's the type of guy that's been coming in recently to shit in the back stairs. It's like the 4th time. Because they come in when to do the shitting when our maintenance man leaves for the day. It's always after he's gone. The reason they do that is because they don't sit there all night, and they've done it on Fridays, so they'll sit there all weekend. So there's a vindictiveness to it, and what it is it's jealousy. It's jealousy. Like they resent people that are in housing or something, so they do this kind of shit. This isn't something I was told this. I thought it sounded weird at first too, until you start seeing the pattern, and you're like, yeah, they just, they fucking hate people who aren't in their situation. I used to know a lot of homeless people. I used to hang around with a lot of them, and there is kind of a crabs in a bucket type of thing that goes on with them too. Like they don't want anyone to do good or to kind of get out of it, because there is like a community, But there wasn't that many turbo assholes when I used to hang around with them. It's almost like when we got all these immigrants and we got a lot of these kind of guys in too, like way more than normal. And they suck so bad. They're the fucking worst. But yeah, I have to, whenever we talk about the homeless, I have quite a bit of stuff here on the channel on homeless in Hawaii here. I have a whole folder or a playlist of a lot of homeless videos. I got to make that distinction though. I'm not, they're two very different groups. You know, someone who got fucked over on their job, and I mean, the average home price here in Hawaii for a one bedroom for a home, a small family home, is $1 million. Rent for a one bedroom here is $2,500, you know, a month. So, you know, I get it. A couple bad things happen. You get a little patch of bad luck and you're out on the street. Those people don't want to cause problems. They want to get back into a home. Unfortunately, though, a lot of guys get out here. And when you're out here, it's, you know, hard to sleep. You don't sleep. That starts weighing on your body. You can't heal. You know, you start seeing into other dimensions, which is why they want you to sleep, so that you don't start seeing other shit. Those aren't hallucinations. You're seeing something else. But that's a whole different video. But, yeah, so you get out there, and then if you weren't on drugs before, you get on drugs just from being in that environment. You know, a lot of guys, like, you can't sleep at night because people rob each other. You know, that's the thing that goes on, is that a lot of homeless people rob each other while they're sleeping. So a lot of them like to stay awake. So you end up doing, you know, stimulants like meth or whatever. And it just erodes your body. I've seen a lot of dudes in like a matter of a couple years, age like 10. You know, I've said it before, I've seen you guys, you know, younger guys show up here, and then next time I see them, they're down in Chinatown, and they look like Rip Van Winklestein, Rob Van Dam, Illuminati confirmed. It's fucking bad. Being out there will stress you so bad, you know, that you will become like one of these street mutants if you're not, you know, if you're not so inclined in that direction already. It's too bad. But yeah, they have this crazy vindictiveness. They're always trying to fuck with people's cars and stuff. They just try to break into people's homes around here, or like not, you know, homes. They would if they could, but like buildings, you know. And our building fucking sucks for security. Like, you got to have a fob, supposedly, to get in, and then a fob to use the elevator. But these fucking guys don't, I don't know if they walk through walls or something, but they get in there. That's why I'm always like, I'm super good with fucking security in my fucking apartment. No one's coming in there. And if they do, I'm going to jail for life. Which will suck, but so I hope they don't come in. But yeah, the people that are in a tough situation, I would never want to lump them in with these fucking lowest of the low. Just fucking human fucking lice. Alright, that's my compassion segment. Going into Ross, I'll be right back. Yeah, like, there are guys I know here, homeless dudes that are cool, that I talk to or give a couple bucks or cigarette to, and they'll tell me things they've seen, you know, and they see a lot of shit, you know, because people aren't afraid to do things in front of them. Nefarious shit. I used to get a lot of information about the trade here, one of the trades here from homeless dudes. Although, like, you know, not information I can do much with. Maybe on Rumble. It's just too, YouTube is too, it's too mainstream. Like, it would be seen. I don't know. I don't think there's any safe way to fucking get into that shit. I've gotten into it in the past, but I don't know. I'm not like, you know, not looking for the ice cream van. But yeah, there's some cool ones that don't bother anybody. But these turbo street mutants really fucking suck. They really fucking suck. You know when you see them, you know. Well, I describe them to you. You know, a lot of them are tall too. It's always tall, skinny, like meth skinny, covered in tattoos, tattoo artist, carrying a skateboard, hat, sneakers, like Vans or something, and 30s and 40s, and they're fucking scumbags. We have a lot of them here now. What are you gonna do though? Any of the problem populations here, you just gotta avoid them, you know. Oh, it wasn't like this though before, you know. For any of the problems we have now that have expanded now, man, it used to be crazy when I first moved here. I was telling Mia, it's like fucking Disney World. I wouldn't be able to sleep, and I'd go for a walk at like 4 in the morning, and there would just be people, you know, people working at the hotels or restaurants, just bringing in food or cleaning people there, and it was all chill. Occasionally you'd run into like a street crazy. Street crazies were the only things you had to worry about back then. You know, no one was looking to rob you or rape you, or because those kind of people that do that really weren't here at that time. So yeah, it was all you really had to look out for. And I noticed like the street crazies, like some of them are like should be in like a mental ward, like my old home. They're just clearly like gone, and we're seeing more of that too, and they're more intense. That could just be the general whole eviling of the world. Everything's getting more intense, you know. As we get closer to something, we're headed for something. I don't know when. You don't know the day or time. Of course, there's always these doomsday kind of dates or doomsday month. And I guess October, I see a lot of chatter about being the new doomsday month. Something's supposed to be happening. You know, they like to say the October surprise. But it's supposed to be the beginning of what will end up being the pull of paper money. They want to, I guess, do that in 2025. Allegedly, that's what I've heard. You know, a Klaus Soros combo operation. They want to move us into that. That they were just, that thing they pulled off a couple years ago. That went so well for them. I mean, that was a success by any metric on every level. They must have been pissing themselves laughing. Well, like I talked about the other day, there is the 95% will do whatever they tell them. You know, so they can always count on them. But it got a lot of 5%ers too. Because the thing is, 5%ers are surrounded by 95%ers. Like your family, the people you work with, your friends. Chances are, if you're a 5%er, no one else around you is. You know, law of averages dictates that you're the only one you know like that, you know. You're only going to encounter other 5%ers on the internet. You know, I know some of you guys are too, obviously, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. If you came in by mistake, you'd be like, this guy's fucked. This handsome guy is really crazy, and then you just wouldn't come back. So some of you guys are. And the weird thing is, no one in your life is a 5%er besides you. And that's hard to get past. That's your family. That's your friends. And then it's not like you can't live with them or anything, but just know that when the rubber meets the road, they will call the Gestapo on you. You know, not even in a malicious way. They'll be doing it like, oh, it's for his own good or whatever. The system will compel them to do what the system wants it to. You know, it's a lot more subtle. It's not like they turn into an Agent Smith person or their face comes off and it's like a robot. It's not, you know, it's a lot more subtle than that. You know, they have a suggestion, you know, in their script. You know, it's a script. Never try to explain to them the system either. Sometimes I do that, sometimes. And I always regret it. Because I know that I just look like a lunatic to them. You know, how do you tell them, oh, everything in the world is run by a script? You know, and it's all by numbers. And you can see the script if you learn a little bit about gematria. Any event or thing that happens around you can be broken down into a series of numbers that correspond in a certain order. Because that's how it was written, because that's how the script was written. And if you know what gematria is and how to use it, you can break everything down into a code. The news, entertainment, sports, whatever. Anything presented to you on any screen or any sort of public thing, get together, whatever the fuck, school Sabbath, whatever you want, there's a code to it all because it's written. The code is written like fucking computer coding. You know, you write something so that so something happens on the screen. It's just the same thing for everything. Yeah, you can't explain that to someone. I mean, you can, but then they're you know, they're probably going to try to get you help at that point. It's exactly what happened to me. It's exactly what happened to me. And you know, I get it. I don't, you know, resent my family for doing that. They were really trying to help. You know, they were horrified. You know, there's something really wrong with you, he needs help. You know, they don't know. They don't know that they're being influenced by something else outside them. You know, and that's what I mean by, like, they'll act on the whims of the system against your best interest. And there's really nothing you can do about it. Yeah, I mean, it sounds weird, but you kind of have to just protect yourself. And part of protecting yourself is keeping your mouth shut, you know, about this kind of stuff. I'm at a point in my life now where I just don't care. Because, like, you know, I'm in a stage where I don't work with a lot of people. I'm not like a student. I'm not working with co-workers. I'm not in a band. I'm not on some kind of a panel in my town. You know, I'm not a member of any community, anything. I don't have to deal with anyone that I don't want to. So all that's left is, like, you know, what people think. And I you know, that's never been a problem for me. So, but for most, like, normal people trying to have, like, a normal life, you should probably keep anything like what we discuss here. Keep that shit to yourself. You know? Like if If a small scorpion stings you, you don't keep it to yourself. Part-time. Alright, well, I'm almost home. I'm not going to take the back stairs. There's a big shit back there, so... I was just talking to my building manager. I sent him a text. I'm like, I'm going to start fucking camping out. I think the text I said, I forgot what I said, but something about taking someone's eye out of their head or something. And I wonder why people fucking think what they do about me. It's alright. I'm fucking psyched about everything. No despair here. But thanks for dropping in, like always. And also, like always, don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.